Okay, guys. Okay, guys. Welcome. Let's not get excited with the music. And sometimes when you get too excited with the music, you find it stays there for a long, long time. But we've just got we have time today, just for a few minutes, uh, to appreciate. Obviously, the title is looking at what Pep Guardiola has done at Man City. I was just watching a lot of things, and also including myself, saying all we're doing is majority of us content creators, we are starving first of all for transfer uh, targets, transfer rumors. It's not working. But at the end of the day, is instead of always focusing on transfer rumors, I was thinking for a minute, like, have we ever sat down as a fan base or as city people or as people as content creators and say, let's appreciate a manager like Pep Guardiola, who came to Man City, I think 2016, and from Bayern Munich, and what he's achieved ever since then is something that Man City as a club uh, never achieved before. And I think Man City fans, either new or old, you never dreamt yourself that you will get achievements like this. So we're gonna go through his incredible journey. I have a few City fans coming on, but I have G certified right now and pitch points. We don't have much of time with pitch points, but I wanted to ask him a few things because pitch points, believe it or not, my friend pitch points, he manages and he works with Man City. So pitch points works with Man City sometimes to the academies
US,
to help out.
US,
Uh,
and the
the US one, the US brand. So he does. He also coaches his own teams and he knows the coaching. So I also wanted to ask him as the coach how difficult it is for somebody to achieve what Pep Guardiola achieves. And we've got the Sheikh here with us. I wanted to invite him because all the time I interact with him on Twitter, and he's one of the people who puts out tweets that are very mature, tweets that make sense. So as always, I appreciate. So welcome to the channel, my
yeah.
welcome to the channel.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I try my best. Sometimes I get a little carried away, but
Mm.
I'll try to keep it measured today.
Nah, you're good, you're good. So I'll start with you, Carl, since you don't have much time.
Mm.
I wanted to ask you, right? You see these achievements that Pep Guardiola has done, and as I said, as a fan base, I don't think all of us ever sit down and appreciate. And you've seen sometimes we go out of hand, or we get too angry, or we get very emotional. We start blaming the man when he drops the player. We start blaming him. Obviously, it's human nature. But when I
Mm.
sat down and looked at all the pictures, when I Googled him, I couldn't even
Mm.
fit the pictures of what he's achieved and what the records he's broken as a manager. And obviously, if they were being fair in the Prem, he could have had a lot of managers of the month. But yet, agendas must agenda
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Arteta, who's got the highest managers of the month in because apparently he was top of the
Mm.
table. Yet Pep doesn't have as many. So looking at you, I wanted to ask you something before you go, and I'm going to talk with the rest of the guys later on. Um, how hard is it so people can understand as a manager yourself? You manage. I know the under 12s and the young teams, but this guy has managed big teams, big egos. Yourself personally, how hard is it as a manager to wake up in the morning? You have to have a plan. When your team loses, how do you uplift them? So how does this man do it, and how do you do it yourself?
Patrick, you have to be insane.
It's true.
You have to be insane. You have to be in love with this game so much that it's all you think about. It's all you do. I mean, let me show you this, right? So,
Mm.
I have a new team next season. We don't start the season until November, and I already have structure of what I'm going to do. Who's going to play where? Notes all the way through 4-3-3-2-3-5. Right? All this stuff we're talking about here, everything I've learned about the game in terms of coaching, I've learned from this man. I'm blessed to be one of the coaches here in the U.S. for the academy. There have academies in California and in Texas and New Jersey and Maryland. They have little academies that they run, U12s, U8s, where they teach them the city way to play. And we see kids who come into the academy not knowing the game much, and within 13 weeks, 14 weeks, they're ready for what we call the travel level, right? And these kids come from travel 1 to pre-academy and now in academy. And Patrick, not that just that they're playing the city where you're seeing 8-year-old kids playing from the back, understanding movement on and off the ball, possession, being free with the ball. Now I coach U8, U12, but I also coach U15s as well. And everything that I've learned from the training that they've given to us, they train us every 6 months, they come over here and train us, is what this man has put in place. We don't appreciate this man well enough. And that's why, if you notice nowadays, I'm just really quiet and I don't talk too much on spaces or whatever it is, because it doesn't matter to me anymore. There's nothing this man can do, Patrick. He's done it all. He's changed football. Let me tell you this. Do you know why England fans are so upset at the way they're playing the game in the Euros? You know why? Because they're used to watching the Guardiola team play at such a level that even when they're not winning, they're still respecting how they play the game. It's changed. You watched Spain the other day. Spain played the City way, the Barcelona way, right? With the ball, with high and wide wingers who can run, control of the game. We enjoy that. England looked like terrible. So for me, what is this man? We don't appreciate him well enough. We won't appreciate him until he leaves. Unfortunately, we never do. But I'm the opposite, man. I'm enjoying every single moment. Whether we get a signing or not, I don't care. This team, without a signing, can still win the league again. De Bruyne is back, playing 3 games a week now, almost 3 games a week. We've got Haaland fully refreshed. Jack is going to be back with his head on and keep all those things he does away. Even Calvin Phillips has something to prove. Nunez, we didn't use him last year. Second season, he's back. So for me, I'm happy, man. I want to go again. Do we need a Rodri replacement? Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe that's the one that we get. But what this man has achieved in the past to win 4 Premier Leagues in a row, not the Sir Alex Ferguson Premier League or when he had like one person who was competing. You got Arteta, you got Klopp. Klopp ran out. You got all these guys coming in, gone. And he's still winning with 91 points. So we don't say enough of him. Everything I've learned in terms of coaching is from him. Is watching him press conferences, how you address the media, how you manage players, how you push players, how you drive them to behave, on the sideline behavior. All those things I've learned from him. Last season, it was my very first season, right, as a coach in what they call the travel here in the U.S. Very first season in travel. I used to be at Rec and Select. Very first season in travel, we won the league. Most goals scored, less conceded, playing 4-3-3-2-3-5 with kids who couldn't play the game before. Why? Learning from the city way. The same approach, the same program that we've learned that they taught us. For me, we don't appreciate him well enough, mate. We look at rivals, we're worried about what rivals will say, we're worried about United rivals. I don't care about rivals. They have nothing to talk to me about. Nothing. Show me your treble. Show me your 5 trophies. Show me a back-to-back-to-back-to-back. Show me a quadruple. Show me football like Pep can play. Then we can have a conversation. Till then, shh, be quiet. No need to argue.
Love it.
Yeah, go ahead, Check. So that was Carl telling us from a manager perspective, and also telling us how it is. It's not easy. As he said, you have to be insane, and we have seen Pep looking like a madman. And De Bruyne has said this. Even Gundogan said this man needs to knock at my door and try talk to me at 2 a.m. I'll be like, what does he want? You know what I mean? So I think you have to be a madman. But what about yourself? How because as I said, there's so much, like, I know that people appreciate, but it looks like we don't show it that much sometimes, and it's not even included me. That's why I was like we have to do a show, because what he's achieved is incredible. Let's not forget I know I was one of the guys, even when I was doing my content, I was bashing him for the Champions League. I was like, why is this man failing in the Champions League? But this guy has still achieved it, and he achieved it in a treble way. He achieved it in style. And if you think about it and sit down, what we're doing right now, everybody would bite your hand off, even though some of them pretend as if they wouldn't do it. Even some of them pretend as if they wouldn't take him in a heartbeat. Even then, some of them pretend, Alex Ferguson is better because, as Carl says, my son, right? He plays football, and if you go watch the football matches, kids are wearing Man City jerseys. I had an argument with Man United fans who are in my group, and they obviously thought I was having an agenda. They're wearing Man City jerseys. And guess what? If you go to his team, right? His first team was not even the league team. Now he's in a league team because he wants to advance better. They used to play from the back. And when they don't play from the back, the goalkeeper, was the smallest in the team, used to shout at them, say, we have to build from the back. You know what I mean? And then he used to pride himself, calling himself Young Edison. You know what I mean? So things are changing. And this man hasn't changed only football in England. Even in Africa, there's the BTEC Pep Guardiola in South Africa. And who I think he won the league by playing from the back. So what about yourself? Do we truly appreciate this man? Or as Carl says, maybe some people will appreciate him when he's gone. But you can also talk to us about his achievements in general, even what he achieved at Barcelona and Bayern, just from yourself as a fan.
I mean, I think it's natural, it's human nature for people to kind of lose sight of how good they have it until it's gone, you know. And I think especially with Pep, and especially with City post takeover, it's kind of been like it happened relatively long ago, in 2008, but in the context of how far the club has come since 2008, and then after Pep came, there was clearly an upwards trajectory, but then after Pep came, it went into the next stratosphere, and I don't think that any City fan can look at on paper what he and the club and the players have accomplished and say anything bad about it, to be honest. You nailed it. It's I think the age of social media and people trying to get clicks and whatnot. I'm sure all of us have been there where we get a little sick of reading the tweets and arguing and whatnot. But the vast majority of fans, myself included, I feel that we have a deep appreciation for Pep and everything that he's done, as well as a respect, not only for what he's done for City, but his status as an icon in the game of football. When this man retires, not even when he leaves City, but when he's done with football, I think people will sit down and realize that, they talk about Sir Alex Ferguson, all the respect in the world for what he's accomplished. But Pep, if he hasn't surpassed him, he's absolutely up there on par with him. And anybody who says otherwise is probably trying to generate some agenda, some clicks. Go do your thing. But amongst us, among City fans, we can sit here for hours and talk about his impact on City. We can talk about his trophies. We can talk about the man management. We can talk about the man that he is and how he helped change not only the play style, but the culture of the club. This idea that winning is the only thing that matters. Winning, I think I saw that interview where Joe Hart, he said in a comment that came out recently, he said, I had a talk with Pep and it was super respectful. And I just realized that this man is here to win, and I'm not that guy, and for Pep, man to man, when you can speak with another man honestly, sincerely, and take constructive criticism and be comfortable enough in your own skin to realize, okay, like this guy knows what he's talking about. Joe, who at the time was, England's #1 keeper, he was pretty much undroppable.
Fan favorite, because we, including me, we all flipped when we heard his goal, and I think that's another thing where that's another thing where, look, as Bravo, I think some of his confidence was actually drawn down by the fans. Because remember the first time when he came here, we were already against him and we were waiting for him to make a mistake. And once he makes a mistake, there was a point where I think Gary Neville said, "Oh my God, they're booing him." You know what I mean? I think they booed him. The home fans booed Bravo. I think he made a mistake against United with the Ibrahimovic and they booed him. And then when he said passing from the back, in a sarcastic way, you see the fans are going like, "Oh, you know what I mean?" So I think, you get so. But I think Joe Hart was in a lot of people's hearts, and we all appreciated it. And I remember when those Sam Lee, because Sam Lee broke the news saying, "Oh, Joe Hart is on the first chopping list." I think I went against Sam Lee on Facebook because I'm used to do Facebook. I was like, "You're talking BS. There's no way Joe Hart is leaving." And boom, there we go. Yosin, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember I was in like a Man City forum online because at the time, City wasn't even that big yet. It's Pep's. Let's be real here. The success the club has exploded popularity wise over the past couple of years. Yeah, it was growing, but I remember I would go online to like find transfer rumors. I wasn't even really on football Twitter at that time. I was kind of just like trying to find stuff. And then I saw rumors saying that, Hart was leaving, and I knew who Pep was. Obviously, I knew about Barcelona. I knew about his work at Bayern as well. And, being a City fan, my initial reaction was like, this guy coming in, he thinks he can call the shots, get rid of all of our legends, and how wrong I was, and now that we look back on it and it's like, like I said, I get carried away, and I try to be objective at times, but it's gotten to a point where it almost feels foolish to doubt him at times, and I almost feel embarrassed to put out certain tweets like questioning his tactics, questioning his selection, because even this past year, there was this kind of notion that we won a title in spite of Pep, and that really irked me to a point where if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won. It's that simple. And I just feel like it's so disingenuous for people to say that when you look at the injuries we had, you look at kind of the not struggles, but like the obstacles that we had to go through recruitment last summer. It's pretty public knowledge that we didn't get exactly the players we wanted, but still, we succeeded. And getting knocked out of the Champions League by Real, it's like we lost on pens. It's like, so in reality, you look at winning the title 4 years in a row. You look at all the good stuff that he's done even this year, and the fact that players like Doku came in and everyone was saying, he's going to need time to adapt. Of course, every player needs time to adapt, but man, what a spark plug, like what an impact. And the fact that we have this kid and Vardiol, these young kids under the tutelage of Pep, hopefully it's longer than a year. Everything he's done, how he set us up for the future, I have nothing but immense gratitude and respect for it. And I think that even if fans don't appreciate it 100% right now, or don't say it as much as they should, when it's all said and done, name the freaking stadium after him. I don't know. We got to show some respect.
I was on that too. I was like, if I don't see a Pep statue, I know that they say we rush with statues. I don't care if we rush with statues, because some of this excitement, I'm sorry, if your club is stingy with statues, it's more power to you. But I still put it as Gundogan is the best City captain we've ever seen. I'm sorry, some people will get hurt. Some people come to me and say, because you're a new fan. I'm sorry. I went back and checked. Yeah. Gundogan was the treble captain. And once you've seen the clips of Gundogan speaking to this team, and for the fact that the guy has a very, how can I say this, soft voice? Because this was my issue with Gundogan. And this is what I believed in the past. I believe like a captain should be like a Ruben Diaz. When he's talking, he's like intense. Gundogan still motivated these players with his soft voice. He's just soft, and he can't go loud because he tried. And people, I think those clips were saying this man is trying to go loud, but he can't. He can't go loud. He's just a soft, humble guy. And when the German team came out and say, we voted Gundogan as a captain because he's very inspiring and inspired City to a treble, and he was one of the inspirations. And when he's speaking, you could tell, because he spoke with Madrid, and some Madrid fans got touched, and some Madrid fans said, he's a winner. What do you expect? When he said some people here don't know what about winning, they don't want to go the extra mile to win. Let me just read this before I got dissatisfied. Mancunian Way, big up guys. Mancunian Way is Martin, and he's going live this evening at 10 o'clock, I think so. So guys, go watch that. It says even though smash those likes, thank you very much. Marvin says I watched your last video, very powerful. You even to talk about it, keep reaching new heights, brother. Big up to you. And appreciate it. Some of the fans think we're playing FIFA and Champ Manager. We don't realize it's so hard to improve on the best. That is true. Some, I mean, only some have lost perspective. He's on it today. Pep got the Ronaldo syndrome, done so much stupidly and unbelievable things that when they don't continue doing the same things, they are criticized. Once Arteta got pundits of lesser achievements. That is true. Hi guys, how you doing? Pep teaches doubters how to doubt, and this is true. Before I go to G, I was one of the people thinking. Obviously, I don't know. I somehow I still have a soft spot for Phillips. I don't know why. I still have very soft spot for Phillips. But I was thinking, I was like, what is Phillips doing? That Pep, how can Phillips be that bad? Because I watched him at Leeds and I watched him for England, and I'm so happy right now because I'm getting a bit of a debut. Because I told people that in that England team, Phillips carried Rice, and somebody came at me. Now Gareth Southgate coming out and saying, I need Phillips. Why Phillips is in bad form? You can see what Phillips can bring, I think, under confidence. But I think at United, at City, some of the things are too much for people, and sometimes you will break. And having Rodri as the guy you have to compete with maybe is hard. But I just thought maybe Phillips could have been in a double pivot more with Rodri, maybe could have helped him. But Pep knows the truth, so I can't really do much. So Sheikh Mansour too. Wow, he says you got Sheikh Mansour too. Wow. We are privileged to watch him showcase his talent with City 50 plus goals a season. That is true. Gundo will be a sporting director soon. He also be a manager. Gundo is doing his finance and director courses. Wow. So what about certified? Let's go. Let me go to you. What has this man done to you? Let me. What has this man done to you as a fan? Obviously not Didi, because some of you guys will be wondering what this man. Because some of you guys get too excited. What has this man done for you as a fan, man? Because let's not lie. Even though we're New City fans, we've tested the trenches a bit. Some of us. At this point in time, I was watching how long I've been supporting City. Such a years now. I think I've been there for a long time, but I was still watching the trenches because some people keep coming at me when I'm on the shows. Oh, you guys had Mancini, you guys had Pellegrini, and you won trophies. My friend, there was times when I was with Mancini being booted out of the Europa. Embarrassing. I remember we went to Roma and Salah dunked on us. I remember that time I didn't know who. Obviously, even Liverpool fans didn't know who Salah was. I remember I was like, who's this guy, this Egyptian guy, dunking on us? I remember watching City get close. I remember scoring at Bayern and still getting away with away points. I don't know if you guys remember, Aguero scored a pen also for that and still being booted out of the Champions League. It was quite funny to watch people trying to use the only time Pellegrini took us to a semi, where he took us to a semi, fair play to him, using that as a stick to beat Pep, but Pellegrini got you to a semi with these players. You keep talking about that they were finished. Yes, some of those players were lazy. Let me not forget. Let me have a bit of a rant for a minute. When Pellegrini took us to the semis and then we played Madrid, there was players like Yaya Toure. I love him. Some of these players were down to him. I remember that game. I think De Bruyne carried us against PSG twice, scored against PSG twice. But when it came to I remember if you guys watched this, Company went off in the second thing and Mangala did an on goal after Gareth Bale crossed it and Mangala did an on goal. It was a close match. But some players like Yaya Toure and some of the big players were dying to win. And there was this fear thing that we had. So it was never from Pep Guardiola. This fear thing was from our history. That was our history of Man City. And as I said, we're in Europe and still bottling it. So I don't know why people keep saying, oh, before Pep, you guys were achieving things. So what has this man done for you as a fan, certified, personally?
Yeah, man. Pep, yeah, he's changed it. He's changed the club. He's changed the club single-handedly. But really, I always say there's so many different important things that have happened in City. But this is equally as important as the takeover. The takeover is one thing, the Dick-off goal is another thing. They're all important at different times, but this is the one in the 2010s. This is the one that people will look at and be like, yeah, this guy changed it all. He changed it, not even going into the football, he's changed everything. Even the coach out here, what I'm saying? He's changed even the city, what I'm saying? I think Martin would say as well, like Manchester's changed because of him. What I'm saying? I'd say that he's came in and he's brought so many people to Manchester. Man City as a whole club, I feel has brought more people to Manchester because more people are supporting Man City. They're supporting. They want to go to the Etihad. They want to go and watch. They're buying the jerseys. They love it. So this guy this is why he's gonna get a Medal of Freedom of Manchester. This is why he's getting these kind of awards. You don't just give these kind of awards just to anybody. You know what I'm saying? You get awards because you've done an impact on society.
Do you think we should find a way for him to get the key to Manchester? Do they give those in England or they give those in America only?
He's
Because
good.
there's people getting the keys to New York, and you're like, oh, is this guy getting the key to New York? You know what I mean? And you're like, come on. And I'm like, some of those keys they give in America. I'm not trying to be bad, but some of those keys, you're like, come on, are we giving Sexy Red the key to Houston, Texas? Like, what are we doing here? You know? But I'm just joking. I don't think Sexy Red is getting any key to anything, to be honest. That woman is on my on my wall so much. Even though you mute her, I mute her name. Dudes are wilding. Everything she does is there. Anyway, so certified. Now obviously we've been live for 25 minutes and we've achieved. So this guy has achieved. Let's start from he's achieved 100 points. Help me if I forget here. He's achieved 100 points, right? 100 points at City. Achieved the domestic for what is it? You call it treble or quadruple, yeah.
Quad?
The quad, yeah. The D quad. I don't know. People are gonna say no DD again on that one. Yeah. The domestic quad, and then he's achieved the treble that was last achieved by Man United, and then he's broken these records of goal scoring. He's broken this record of the most possession of football. As I said, he's already influenced so much, and for the fact that Cow and the Sheikh said even at their weakest moment, as they keep calling us weak for the past 2 seasons, even when we won the treble, they called us weak at the beginning, the pundits. He still managed to take the league from teams that, let me not lie, and I'm not a hater. That's why I tell people I do agendas on Twitter, but I appreciate what it is. Arteta had me scared last season, not this season, the other season, the time when he was on 50 already. I was like, there's no way this student of Pep Guardiola is going to beat us to a title. And part of me gave up in January, and I openly said to my Arsenal friend, I think we're done here. And he's like, yeah, I think you guys are done here. And I think a lot of people thought in their hearts we're done. Remember the time when he left us? Not this time, but the other time. They were on fire, but he still managed to find a way. Anyway, big up to Musa, man. Musa is just Musa is just the neutral who's going to give us a neutral on how he sees Pep Guardiola in general. And I'm pretty sure he's brought so much pain to Musa, but Musa would take that pain away and still appreciate this man for who he is, isn't it?
I don't know if I won't call myself a neutral, because let's not forget I'm still a Chelsea fan, so I still have that spite. I don't know if you guys will like everything I have to say about Pep. It might not be 100%, a fanfare, but as a coach, legendary, yes. The tremble that you guys keep on referring all the time, yes, he has made it happen. But I think for me, the whole Pep, it goes maybe beyond City. I guess I have a little bit of that sour history of, him with Samuel Eto'o history and the Yaya Toure history. So I still have a little bit of that, bad taste of the history that they have together.
You're holding on to that. I was holding on to that. I gave up when Yaya kept on apologizing multiple times. I was like, Yaya, brother, you're now apologizing for things you said.
He had to. They're pretty much blood brothers now. They're all CD folks, so they have to be nice. So I think
isn't it quite funny that we used to talk about that juju and jinx, the Yaya thing, and it was a joke. But when Yaya Toure and his agent said, this man, the juju is done and they win the UCL, that's when the UCL was won. I know people were busy shushing me about that, but come on, guys. These men say on national TV that juju is done, they'll win it, and boom, we win it. Just like that. That was gas. That was funny. I don't know about you, Sheikh. When I saw that video from the agent, I was like, I remember when I saw the video and he said, oh, they'll win it this time. The juju is done. I was like, can you shut up with your juju? We're done. Then boom, we win it. I was like, maybe these guys were really cursed us, because some of those games used to be funny.
It's real.
Raheem failing to score an empty net, roofing it on an empty net against Lyon. Those were funny moments. But anyway, let's. I know you've got your agenda with the Yaya and Eto'o, but okay,
it's not really agenda. I think it's more of like just the backstory. But as a coach, with from Barcelona all the way to there, there's no deniable that he's way up there. I don't know if he's to the Ferguson level just yet, and hear me out. Also, like, where it's almost like a different generations. Every time when I see people comparing different generations on even athletes just in general, it's kind of hard for me to kind of compare those generations. Like if you say Mourinho and Pep, now I kind of see it because they're almost like in the same window
Talking
of
about like when people come in and compare like Jordan and LeBron James, I think
yes. That's so I think Ferguson is like he's like on the Arsene Wenger, level where those coaches had to do everything. They were sporting directors. They had to pick the entire team and build it, and had the youth, the homegrown players to bring them up and make them the superstar that they are now. Compared to now, the coaches maybe have it a little bit easier and a little bit of money wise. But for Pep, I have to say he's probably one of the greatest managers you can have, or greatest players turn managers that we've almost ever known.
Now
For me,
yeah. Hey man, because Musa, man, like because we were talking the other day as well, and we were about the England game though, yeah, and the way it played, and what other international teams are trying to do. It feels like a lot of managers are trying to copy Pep.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It feels like the game is changing to be Pep managers, or to people that are trying to be Pep, or to they're trying to copy his style, and it's not.
Did you see John? Sorry, before I forget, sorry for cutting you. Did you see John Terry, what he said on TV? I don't know, Sheikh, if you saw that on Musa and the pitch points. He says, I go for interviews, right? And Lampard also said it. We go for interviews these days, and championship teams, even lower teams, will tell you that, can you play like Man City and Pep Guardiola? And you're like, what? He said that. John Terry said that on TV, and he's like, he looks at you and like, what? He's like, yeah, they're basically telling you, can you play like Man City and Pep Guardiola? Can you play from the back? Can you play this type of football? And John Terry was like, you're looking at yourself saying, how do I get to become, because he was asking, do you take the opportunity to become Pep's assistant? He's like, I would grab at it. Even Rooney said, I'll grab at it, because when you go for interviews, they're usually asking you to play like him. I would like to be a fly in the wall and hear about that.
Well, Patrick, let's take a case study of Vincent Kompany, right? Kompany was relegated with Burnley, right, or not? He was, right?
Mhm.
Right? Vincent Kompany was relegated with Burnley, but then he stuck to his principles, the Pep way. I'm going to play the way I believe I can play. I believe I can coach. And because of that philosophy and that belief system, he gets a Bayern Munich job. Now, he may have been fourth or fifth or third on the list. It doesn't matter. He got the job. Why? Because they saw something in him, right, that allowed them to say, you know what? Maybe this guy gets better players. Maybe he can play a better game. Maybe he can win us something.
Well,
Right, so
you went far. You could have gone short. Let's talk about Enzo at Chelsea.
Yep, that's another one.
Even Mikel Arteta, the list goes on and on. Xabi Alonso. Listen, for me, Xavi Hernandez. For me, the Pep is just, his influence on the game is unmatched. I've never seen a guy in my lifetime have the influence on the game the way that he's got a hold of the game. You know what I'm saying? He's got the whole game in a chokehold. He's got the whole game. Now, obviously, Wenger, he changed the things here. There's a lot of things that I can say Wenger changed, the nutrition here in the Premier League, but that was mainly just in the Premier League, not really.
Yeah, he went. He's one of the managers here who went very strict on the diet of players and the way you eat. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy, and he was the first guy really to bring in the national players to the Premier League, big time, and to make the squads more kind of, if you want to say, diverse. So I'll give Wenger his credit. He did do a lot of things to change the game, but when you're talking about the whole kind of global, kind of way that football's played, Pep's changed it. And even though I hear what Musa's saying at Barca, but I think that Toure, even though he won the Champions League as a centre back, people also forget that as well. He won the set as a centre back while Pep was there, and then he removed Toure and he brought in Busquets. Now let's be honest, Busquets is probably that on a different level of Toure, if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a one level above. You know what I'm saying? Because Busquets, and then go Go on, man. Go on, man. Pinpoint.
So the Yaya problem is a very simple problem. It's my African brother doing very well, right? We don't like to be second best to anybody. That's a fact. And unfortunately, Yaya, he just wasn't as good as Busquets. He wasn't as good as Fernandinho. Period. You gotta step aside, brother, and stop complaining, right? About birthday cakes and all that nonsense. No. Right?
It was alpha guys, just because he was not just one African player. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but
Nah.
but I'm an African. I'm from Nigeria, right? I'm from Nigeria, right? All this stuff about he doesn't play Nigeria African players. Oh, maybe there's a reason why he doesn't play them. Maybe there is a reason why.
Yeah, that's a different discussion. That's a different discussion.
I pick players. As a coach, I pick players, right? And this is me, right, from the academy in the US. And no can play the way I want them to play. And the ones that can't, guess what? They are sidelined. Go away. I'm sorry, kid. You can't cut it. It's just the way it is. Why would I want to put a player there who struggles to play the way I want to play because they're black or they're Asian, they're white? I don't care. You could be from Mars and play my sister. I'll play you, mate. I don't care. So I don't know.
Be a dog, isn't it? You play them.
Rhetoric around, he doesn't play because he's from Africa. No, I don't care. You can play my sister. I'll play you.
Yeah, I think it was just a different style of play. Because I think Yaya Toure was more of a physical player, where Pep was looking for more of a creative, more agile player. So I think
but Fernandinho wasn't agile at the beginning. He was damn well physical. That's all he had. But he learned, he adapted, he changed, he modified himself to be one of the best CDMs in the league. I mean, Yaya just needed to just get his head around it, and he wasn't ready to do that.
Yeah, the only thing about Yaya I can say is looking at him at City, isn't it? Like I was heartbroken on one thing because Yaya Toure had everything, the power, the pace. But there was a point in time where my brother Yaya, I think, was enjoying KFC. I know that's bad to say, but it was enjoying KFC and McDonald's more than football, because that nutrition thing we talk about. I remember there was a game. I was like, my brother Yaya, you're looking as big as me now. Like, and you're a football player. And and he was walking. And you know what? Fair play to him. He was just. Then do you know what the funny thing, Musa? He lost weight, and he was played. And I think Pep went to him and hugged him and said thank you. Remember, Shaq? He said thank you to him, isn't it? And then he thanked him again for what you've done. He said thank you, and he benched him. He scored 3 goals or 2 goals against Crystal Palace. Remember, Crystal Palace used to make a struggle. Yaya came on, and Yaya played DM, and he played better than Fernandinho. And Pep said we were not going to win that game without Yaya. And that's when you saw that Yaya. So actually, if you can do the weight down, put a bit of effort, you're unstoppable. But those games where Yaya was just, I don't know. I think it was at City. City was also an issue because it wasn't Yaya Toure only. There was many players who I think at City were so undroppable. Even Aguero, remember, gained so much weight at City. He wasn't pressing that much. He didn't need to press. He was our superstar. Yaya, Aguero, these guys were untouchable. So when Pep came and then he had that talk with Aguero, and remember Pep wanted Aguero gone because I think it was also one of the issues that Aguero was just didn't want to press, and then the weight was also not the initial weight for a striker. But anyway, we leave that there. But what I wanted to say is,
I think that just
Patrick, let me give some a news flash, right? Let me tell you something, right? Next season, if Erling Haaland doesn't stop pressing, we're going to see problems with him and the manager. Just keep that brain for next season.
No, but
he's had his holiday, right? If Erling Haaland doesn't stop pressing like Julian Alvarez, right, we're going to see some problems between him and the manager. Watch the space. Just saying it now. Listen, the man is insane. I'm telling you right now. When you drop De Bruyne against Tottenham and you drop Diaz against Tottenham, you know this man is insane. I'm telling you, man, he's a king of the castle. He's a captain of the ship. You know why we have five captains, Patrick? You know why we have 5 captains? Because there's only one real captain, and his name is Guardiola.
It's true.
So is he just lying to them that you're captains for the sake of be happy, make them happy?
Bro, Patrick, let me explain, right? So I coach, right? I have 5 captains on my own team. The truth is, the real captain of that team is me.
Also, you're also another
Oh boy.
psychopath. Are you serious? You see this shit? This
Uh-uh.
man, this is the reason why this man
I'm telling
idolizes
you,
too.
listen, I'm just telling you the truth, man. The real captain is him. It ain't Walker or Diaz or De Bruyne. No. He's a captain. Get it straight. The
Yeah,
guy's a
no.
psychopath. I'm telling you.
I mean, he's been doing it his entire career too. We were talking about Joe Hart before, and Hart understanding that it wasn't the right fit, and Yaya, when Pep came, he was kind of on his last legs too. He's not so young anymore. And you kind of look at the way that Aguero changed his game. A lot of our players kind of definitely had to put in the extra yards, and you look at the drama that he had with Calvin Phillips. The signs are all there. It's not
Samir Nasri, who was just
exactly,
undroppable. Yeah.
No, but
exactly.
Sheck just you said it there. It's happened throughout his career.
Yeah.
I'm saying that even at Bayern Munich with Tony Cruz, I think the one that I can say that, the Eto'o and Cruz, them were mistakes when you look at what they went on to do. But really, when you think about it in detail, like the Barcelona, they bought in Pedro again from the academy. They still went on to win the Champions League and do what they did. You know what I'm saying? And Eto'o went on to win a treble anyway. So, but they both went on to do great things anyway. So
Do you know who said it? Before I also forget, the one he proved me wrong was because I've fought this man. Trust me, Musa, I've also fought this man a lot since Barcelona. But when I found out what Ronaldinho was doing outside football, I was like, wow, how do you get away with all that?
Patrick, but there's
He
a
was
method to
different.
madness too, right? Sorry, Musa, go ahead.
Oh no, just saying that Ronaldinho was different. He was doing that even at PSG too before he went to Barcelona. So that was normal. That's why he got away with so much.
Right.
Because
I think that's where they crash, though, isn't it? For the fact that I don't think some managers want a guy who just shows up hangovers. Man, I know you are skilled, but come on, there still has to be discipline, Because I hear some of these players used to pay the fees and laugh at the captain, at Barcelona, some of these big boys. Because they were paid so highly, they would pay the fee and laugh at the captain. Now, what are you going to do next time? So I think there was also a lack of...
Patrick, but there's a method to the mass madness. Let me explain what I mean by that, right? So in order to play at the levels at which he plays at and to achieve what he achieved, you need players who are pliable. What do I mean? Players who want to learn, who will do what you ask them to do, who won't say, well, I don't know about you, I'm going to do what I want to do. You drop them. Remember Thierry Henry's discussion about him playing on the wing and staying out there, and then he didn't listen to Pep, scored a goal, and Pep yanked him at halftime. That whole discussion. In order to achieve those levels of success, you need players who do exactly what you want them to do. Without that, you won't win what he's won. It's impossible. So I get it. I mean, players who have a high self-esteem, high self-regard may not last well with Pep.
So do you guys think that Pep would have been this successful if we say 20 years ago with the same players?
They won't last well with the manager. They won't, because they're not ready to do what he wants them to do. The running, the hard work, the pressing. It's the only way you achieve success.
Wait. I said that again, Musa. You said what? Say that again.
Like, do you think
that
you
can answer
Pep,
this?
Pep's style of coaching now, would that have worked like 20 years ago?
It's a tough question. Yeah, it's a tough question to answer,
I think he'll find the players who he wants to manage at that level. He'll find them.
Yeah, because the players that I see now, I probably wouldn't see them in 20 years ago. You will see some of those players, like you mentioned, Ronaldinho, right? They were not those guys that stayed in shape all the time. They were more,
I would say
a little bit more freedom.
Yes. I would say yes, Musa, because I go back to the Ajax of '93, right? The Ajax that won the Champions League, they were the same behavior. Koeman, Finidi, George, Wanko Kano, all those guys were pliable. They were young. They were willing to learn. They played total football. To play total football, everybody has to be bought in. You can't have one person who's off. It breaks down. So you have the same behavior amongst all those players. What's that guy's name? The number 9 that they played. What's that guy's name again? The black guy. My friend. Oh, jeez, I forgot it. For Ajax. His son now plays for Kluivert, right?
Yes.
Kluivert.
Oh, he was a beast. He
was incredible. But the same thing. Pliable kid. A pliable player. Very pliable player.
It's weird. It's weird. I might even argue that it's harder for him to implement it now because the players have seem to have much bigger egos. There's a lot more noise, social media, It's like back in the day, I feel like football players, it was a job. It's like they didn't really have as many yeah, they had distractions, but maybe not as much as they do now. The kids weren't getting paid as much back in the day, you know.
We
I
just
I
didn't
don't
know those stories.
yeah, yeah.
I've heard some of them.
Exactly,
They're-
exactly. But a manager like Pep, who's fearless enough to kick out the personalities and the figures that don't fit with his philosophy, don't fit in the locker room, don't fit with the culture, that's not limited to eras. That's something that he would have implemented all the time. And I think I was talking about this. I think last year maybe, but like Pep changes too. Every year his tactics change little by little. He's constantly innovating. And even if the
And
tactics were
sorry for cutting you, and he says he's not as strict and as extreme as before. Remember, I told you, he says I used to wear a suit always. Thought
yeah,
managers have to wear a suit, being intense on the sideline, being so intense towards my players. Even Bayern players said when they hear rumors now, they hear he's gone softer now.
yeah. I
But
think I saw an interview where I don't know if it was Mueller or I think it was Mueller. He said Pep threatened to cut his balls off if they didn't score or something in the second half. Like, like that's insane.
Well, Sheikh, if you remember, there's a recent video of I think it was in C app where he talks about the Chelsea final
Yeah.
in Porto, where he
Okay.
talks about that the way he approached that final, it was too intense.
Uh huh.
That and oh sorry, and that sorry, and that threw the whole team off, right?
Hmm.
Completely threw them off. He talks about it that he learned from that experience, and that made him a better manager. That's why one reason why we won the final in Istanbul, because he let
Right.
the players just play and enjoy themselves.
Yep. Sometimes I mean, I'm not a manager, so I can't really say, but I would love to hear your opinion on this. It's like at this level, at this level where it's like it's not high school, it's not club soccer or football in college. It's literally the highest level of football in the world. Sometimes it's counterproductive to be that guy that's going to come in and ream players out and yell at them and tell them what they did wrong. They know what they need to do. They drill this every day. This is their life. I run a music PR company. I know how to run a music PR campaign in my sleep. And I'm not the Pep Guardiola of music PR. So, like, if you want to compare,
but you can run it in your sleep.
yeah. Well, that's the goal. Maybe I'll win a quadruple at some point in my life in some way. But I'm just saying, he knows his man management is just part of who he is too.
I mean, Sheikh, you bring a good example, and I'll give an example. So I coach U15s, and I used to be a coach who used to scream at the sideline, all that stuff. And I stopped because it was counterproductive.
Yeah.
What we do is that we give the players the instructions, what they're supposed to do, and we just help them, give them guidance through the game. And at halftime, I don't talk at halftime, Sheikh. I ask the players to self-correct themselves. What should you have done better? You guys solve it yourself. You tell me what you should have done, and they figure it out. And then what I do is a one-on-one. Say, okay, you guys, hey, do this next time. Right? Try this one-on-one, and let them go down and express themselves. It completely changes the way. And I learned that from Guardiola.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
There's this thing like they say that Pep doesn't make any subs, right? And it's like it's because he trusts the players on the pitch to find the solution. He'll go up to them and be like, he'll go up to Roger and be like, what are you seeing? And Roger will be like, I'm seeing this. And he's like, oh, what do you think we should do? And it's like to empower your players to feel like they have not only the intelligence but the ability to pull themselves out of this hole. It also increases their self-belief in game. It's like a morale booster. Instead of coming over and saying you messed up, you need to do this, blah blah. It's like people say Pep is controlling, but at the same time he's also said that in the final third his job is to get the players to the final third and then he lets them do what they want.
100%.
So it's like yeah, and it's so smart if you think about it. These are the best players in the world. They're not just athletically gifted players. They're intelligent men as well. They're the ones that are on the pitch, and I feel like the best managers in the world understand that. And I think, not to throw Mourinho under the bus, but I still am a pretty big Mourinho fan. I respect the guy for what he's done, but I think
But
there's
his style is
Be
outdated,
nice,
isn't
be
it?
nice, be nice.
exactly. I
Be
think
nice.
His style
there's
is
a reason.
outdated. It's
No,
outdated.
I'm
yeah.
not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying that there's a reason why Pep is still managing at the highest level, and Mourinho is managing Fenerbahce, or however you say the Turkish club.
Wow.
I think
Ouch.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
kind
I
of
mean,
that.
He
Musa,
hasn't
that hurt.
evolved.
That-
He hasn't
Yeah,
evolved.
Musa admitted. I think Mourinho's management style is outdated. He
So I
had to
think
stop.
he's just like he's like an in between. So
Mm.
so you have the Fergie and you have the Wenger, then you have Mourinho, then you have Guardiola and the others. So I think for him is like it worked because at Chelsea he hired a whole bunch of hard asses.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
So
You're
that's
right.
why
Oh,
he
man.
was able
Yeah.
to get a John Terry because you cannot talk to John Terry calmly for him to play in defense like he did. So I
Just
think
like
he
me.
was one of those guys. You had to work with those. Didier Drogba, you would not be like, hey, just do it this way. He's like, no, I'm gonna run to this guy. So I think it just depends on how the players you get them. And I definitely do see Guardiola, the Chelsea game, he was like too technical. That's why he lost the game from there. But now you're starting to see the players are a lot more looser, like the Real Madrid, where you see Real Madrid players, you see the coach, he's barely saying anything.
He just
He's
does
on the
this.
bench. Yeah, pretty much that.
Just
And he's
this.
chewing gum and he's spitting it and doing it. And then he does two
And
or three
drink, and
sentences.
when he starts drinking water, know you're in trouble. The team is
Yeah.
in trouble. You're gonna lose or draw that game.
I
And
mean,
he starts chewing his gum faster, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, snap.
I want to harp on what Sheikh just said earlier on about, and it's a key. One of the things that changed the way we play is, Sheikh talked about asking the players, "What do you see?" So what I've done, I learned it from the academy, is that I don't say, "Hey, run, run." And I ask the players, "What do you see?" When they have the ball, what do you see? And it
Mhm.
changes the speed of the game. It changes how they think about the game. Now they look up. Now they make the right pass. Now they're in the right position. And when they get to the final third, I don't say a thing, not one word, not express yourself, make the right decision. So all we say is, what do you see? What do you see?
Yeah.
Can you make it bigger? Can you keep the ball? Can you play through? Can you play over? Can you play
Mhm.
around? These are all the principles that they've taught us about the game from City Academy. 3 things. Can I play through? Can I play over? Can I play around? That's it. That's it. And you
It's
see kids, 14, 15-year-old kids who are playing this way. You're like, wow. You're like, wow, he's changing the world, man. He is.
Yeah, it's funny because people will always say, you go on Twitter and there's all these new terminologies and there's tacticals everywhere saying all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, football is a simple game, and the one man who understands that more than anyone is Guardiola. His job is putting his players and maximizing their ability and putting them in positions to maximize the potential for success. For them to achieve that success, that extra step is on them, and he lets them do it. And in that sense, he's even more of a genius for me. It's like you don't need to be a dictator. It's like, yeah, you're the leader, but being a leader and being a boss is a different thing. And I feel like Pep has mastered that discrepancy between just being the bossy, like, oh, you do this, but he's a leader. He knows when he has to be firm. He knows when he has to say the right things. And also, as a human being, when he messes up, he takes accountability for it and he makes up for it. He has his entire time at City. Anytime he's made a mistake, anytime he feels like maybe he made the wrong call, he takes accountability for it because he's a man. And eventually the results show in the end that he knew what he was doing and he'll fix the mistake. And as fans, how can you not appreciate that?
Yeah,
We don't expect perfection, but it's as close to perfection as we can ask for. It's like literally, what more can we ask for at this point?
Yeah, what? Well, I don't know. I just
don't know.
I don't know too. Like at the point in time, I was like, he's embarrassed me a few times, to be honest. I have to admit. But here's Jerry says, "Did I hear the difference between Puskas and Yaya is a birthday cake?" Let me go. Pep respects the team too much to deal with all the egos. That is true. I think so. Pep knows that football is a team sport. That is a very good point. Hello from Manchester. How are you doing, John Waters? Man, hope you're well. Mohammed says he was brought by the greatest coach, played with the greatest players, and achieved his dream as a ball boy to play for his club, captained his club. Wow. He played with Romero, R9, and Steko. What is that? Steve.
Stoichkov.
What Stekovic? Stoichkov. Oh yeah, I play FIFA and I don't know how to say Stoichkov. It's Stoichkov. Look, that word is out of my mouth, and I play FIFA. I use that
Those
player
guys
to be
are
honest.
legends, man.
I
I fell in love with Romario, man. Brazil. That's. Yeah. Don't remind me of those days, man. I fell in love with football.
Yeah, the players when you watch them. Let's not forget your man from Romania. What's his name again? Haji.
Haji.
Oh, I love Haji. Haji. There's a player who I love is Haji. The Haji.
Paolo
look,
Maldini.
Paolo Medina. There's names out there. There's names out there. Yes, man, Jerry. I'm not gonna say that name again. Stoichkov. And you know what? I had him. I play FIFA foot, and I had him, and I kept on saying something about him. Luis Figo, Enrique. There's just too many.
You know the weird thing, so my 8-year-old the other day says, Dad, I really like Ruud Gullit. Like, what? Who? I said, who told you about Ruud Gullit? Like that, I've been watching all the old games. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're learning. You're ready.
He's going far. He's going far.
Yeah, it's going far. For him to know that Musa is right. Yes. Hello, everyone. How you doing, Big Morgan? Big up to you. Let's let it go. I know the chat is not going to let it go. You know what? This is the funny thing about my chat. There's about 378 of them watching, right? They're all quiet. As soon as you make a mistake, they come in. They come in. You see, like there's 300 of them. They haven't said anything. It's only a few who've been speaking, right? Then watch this. When the video is done, they'll go in the comments and they start. YouTube is funny.
They're taking notes for an hour and a half. Huh?
Nah, man, Muhammad. I have to be honest with you. I haven't heard anything at all. There used to be some guy on Twitter. I used to doubt him and laugh at him. He used to just randomly throw me pointers. He threw me a pointer for Haaland. And I remember I spoke to Carl and said, let's do a Haaland video. And then even Carl was like, believe it or not, I was thinking of a Haaland video. That's way before Haaland was even linked with City. Then he threw me another bone with Alvarez. Then he threw me another on Grealish. But that guy just went quiet. I haven't spoken to that guy for a long time. But somehow this guy used to just come, because maybe I'm a YouTuber, he used to just come and say, talk about Haaland. Haaland is coming to City. I think I told him BS. I'll show you the message. I'll keep the message without his name. I told him, I was like, man, dude, stop feeding me these things. But he fed me the Haaland one. And if you look at our video, Sheikh, the Haaland one, we did it, me and Carl, way before Haaland was linked. Even Carl already had an idea on what to do about Haaland. Say, let's give him an offer, can't refuse. And we said Haaland is coming. Boom. Weeks Haaland was set to come to
I mean,
City.
we got the time frame right. We got the valuation right. We got the salary right. We got everything was spot on. Because it's just math. Just it's breadcrumbs, right? We talk about having breadcrumbs. Just follow the breadcrumbs. Yeah, you figure it out.
Yeah, sometimes that's another theory.
I'll give you an example. The Bernardo Silva discussion. I've said for years he ain't going anywhere, and people abuse me, right? But here we are today, right? He's still there. Just follow the breadcrumbs. It's all about money.
It's so crazy. I actually remember you saying this.
Yeah, Bernardo's issue was about money. Why is Bernardo?
Yeah, he was very stubborn. I remember when we were talking about Bernardo leaving, Carl was adamant every time when he came on the channel and on Twitter that it's all about money. This guy just wants extra money. He's looking at
just pay the guy, you know?
Yeah. He says he's looking at other players, and and Carl used to say, this guy wants to go to Benfica when he's done. And he says, if we give him his clothes and more money that he's going to Benfica, trust me, he will go to Benfica when he retires. He just wants more money because he's looking at Jack Grealish, he's looking at Raheem, he's looking at other players, getting more money than him and saying, am I not worth that much? And then Carl is also very stubborn on this. He told me that we're not going to pay the 100 million his clothes for Bruno. And he also told me that Edison is not going anywhere. Edison is crying about money too. And when I dug deep, I was like, yeah, we signed Edison in a 7-year contract when he came, and he receives peanuts and is one of the best keepers. And some keepers, even including Pickford, get more money than Edison.
Yeah,
imagine that.
He's one of the lower paid players in the squad.
Imagine that.
So sometimes it's money. Trust me, it's money. And I think it was Edison's agent feeding Fab and them that keep pushing. Do you think we're signing anyone? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. This particular one, I haven't heard anything. I haven't even seen a sniff. And people are just throwing names. Dani Olmo.
Patrick, I think I told you Olmo was BS when they went up against Olmo. I mean, once
you told me that.
Once a player doesn't come, they just check out. They just leave it. I think we'll get one person, at least one more person. We have Savio already, and Savio's going to stay. By the way, right? I mean, he's going to stay. Savio's going to stay. One is good enough. Number two, right? He ain't go back to Girona because you're in the Champions League. He can't go back, right? APT, he can't go back. What's he going to go to Troyes in France after that? No, he's going to stay. So the mechanics of the whole APT issue has made sure that Savio is going to stay. We just need a Rodri help. That's all we need. I think they'll find one. I think they'll get one. I have my idea of who that should be, but we'll talk about it another day.
You guys are done signing people. Just let the other team catch up for a little bit.
Wait. You from Chelsea.
This guy, Chelsea fan, talking about
you from Chelsea. Aimlessly open your mouth from Chelsea.
I said it.
You submitted your FA Cup team. Your FA Cup team was this big.
Shame.
City's was like this. Yours was this big. You guys even had double everything. I think there's a rumor that City have got double everything. We don't. Chelsea actually had double everything or triple everything.
I think it was triple almost.
Yeah, it was. Did you see that list? I was like, oh my god. So let me just throw something to Chelsea fans, and I told them this already. Chelsea fans, you guys have got talent. That's why when Pochettino was busy crying that I can't form a team, I kept on saying shut up. Because I was looking at your team, I was like, this just needs patience. Because let's not forget, if Lavia somehow you keep him fit, Lavia especially. Why I keep saying Lavia, I think there's a talent in there. This kid, me and Carl, we followed him. We've got videos on Lavia, how he played centre back, how he played attacking midfield, how he played left back. He can play everywhere. If Lavia stays fit, you throw him next to Caicedo and then tell somebody like Palmer, you play the number 9 and be creative. Nkunku was the number 10.
Yeah, and Nkunku, if he stays healthy.
Yeah, that team is cooking. And when Pochettino kept on complaining and people telling me, oh, with this, I was like, nah, let's not lie here. Pochettino has got better tools than Angie. But Pochettino just wants to start lying that I need experience. I know it was clicking at the end, but come on, there was just coaching that needs. And if I was a manager, I would be going to Lavia or people who look after these players, in a medical way. Because Fabian Delph, remember, Sheikh, was having issues at City. And guess what? Apparently, he changed his diet. He became vegan because he was getting injured a lot. John Stones changed his diet because he's getting injured a lot. I'm pretty sure Lavia, at the age of 21 or 20 years old, can be advised, because the specialists these days, they can go check your body and say, why is this guy getting so many injuries? You know what I mean? And they can fix him up. And you haven't played him for a while. Maybe Pochettino, that's why I left him on the side, because sometimes you brought him a bit early. But I think Lavia is another player that can unlock. And for the guy, Enzo, who coached Lavia, Parma, and I see why Enzo wants marketing from City, because he coached all these players and he wants to bring these boys. Yeah, he will cook. And I'm pretty sure, as much as I have agendas against Jackson and his age, he keeps lying about his age, I think so. Because if you put a picture of me and Jackson, I think I'm sorry. Some Chelsea fan was pissed off at me, but Jackson, come on, brother.
What? No. So you go with Chelsea and then you go for a Senegalese player, which is that's my people. He has a rough life.
Come on, Jackson, brother. Just admit, brother. Because Jackson, we don't want you to be like Fabinho. Look at Fabinho. He lied to us.
It's not like not everybody can have a baby face like you, right?
Musa, you and me can be on. We can have a triple picture. Let's just put Jackson, and they say, "Who's the grandfather here?" People point this guy, Jackson. I'm sorry, but Jackson, my brother, I love you, but it's just Jackson.
He just got a rough life.
I know. I got that. And you know what? Now, that thing where we say in Africa, when you start making money changes you. I've seen now he's changing him. Big up. Says, surely we're signing Rodri back up. I think the club will know what to do. Don't worry about it. Let's just be patient. And let's not forget that the 1st of June, the new account year starts, doesn't it? I think the new account year starts for clubs or something. So maybe clubs... Look, I have a theory, Sheikh and Musa. I don't know if you guys agree with this theory. I have a theory that teams purposely allowed the Bruno Guimaraes release clause to expire. They purposely allowed it. I think teams looked at him and said, okay, 100 million, we don't have to negotiate with Newcastle. But they were like, So I think they purposely allowed it, and then now it's gone. And then when the new account year starts, I think we will see Arsenal, PSG, or City, or somebody else start bidding for him. I think so. They'll start bidding at 70, 80. I think they will. I think they looked at him and said, no, 100 is too much. Let's be honest, 100 was too much. It doesn't matter if you don't have to talk about that.
Well, I mean, let's think about the mechanics right here, right? Think about it, right? We know Newcastle have to sell players. We know
And
they
that
have
signed
to,
remember the 19-year DM yesterday.
right?
Yeah.
Why? Because one of the PSR. Number two, their wage to income ratio was, I think last year was probably 98 something percent. They don't have Champions League revenue. They're out of Europe. They need to make sure that they're PSR compliant, which is that they have to sell players. No one's going to pay 100 million for Bruno Guimaraes. Now, after June 30th, right now the new year starts. Now they figure out how do we make sure we capture for next year revenue to make sure that we're compliant. They have to sell someone, whether it's Isak or sorry.
You're right. He's on the
he's right.
list.
He's right.
He's on the list.
Yeah,
And I think most clubs said that they can't afford to pay for Isak.
Right, they're going to have to sell. They're going to have to sell to be compliant. So let's see what happens.
I think they just have to be creative. That's
this Musa. Chelsea have hotels and car parks on the 60-man squad.
hey, that's how they broke even, and they were off the line.
I mean, I would be very, very careful with that. That's not resolved yet. The Premier League yesterday hasn't approved that yet. You know that, right?
But you know, approved it yet. Yeah. And the joke I have internally is that, you know, they screwed Chelsea so badly with, you know, forcing them to sell the club, and then they sold the club so well to an American owners. I still see that they probably will tread slowly with Chelsea and the Man City and others, even though they say there's all those rules, broken. I think those teams, they will not touch them at the end of the day.
You might be right. You are right. You know that, and the Prem has to be careful because let me be honest with you. I'm very extremely disappointed as a football fan, and the fact that Pep Guardiola has brought the standards up in this game, and then other teams are coming with Enzo. Then let's not forget about Arteta. Let's not forget Aston Villa. These teams are going to the Champions League, and do you know what has disappointed me? The fact that Douglas Luiz has had to go to Juventus, who's another Champions League team.
Patrick,
and then we have strengthened Bayern by giving them Michael Olise. Because again, apparently Premier League team says they couldn't do the deal because of these stupid Premier League rules.
Well, Patrick, let's go back to Musa's point, right? When Ineos, when Jim Ratcliffe comes out and says that the Premier League needs to be careful with this PSR, you know that guy, what's his name, Mitchell Masters, he's in hot water. You know he's toast. He's finished. When Ineos comes out and talks about these rules are not right, there's a problem. Mm-hmm. There's a big problem.
They know that there's those certain teams that they never want to hear that, you know, a team that says, you know what, so maybe we just won't play in the EPL and we'll create our own league where then we'll just play over there and all of the billions are gone in a matter of seconds. So I think they will tread, and that's why they always go against Everton and all the other groups, because they know those teams will go up second division, first division, not to hurt, you know, not hurting the leagues as much as, you know, would you imagine if they say City and Chelsea has to go to the championship?
Yeah,
they deducted 30 points off of them.
I know. This is why I tell people, Sheikh and Musa, that I say low-key that you guys, the Premier is not stupid. They, even as bad as people say we wouldn't, because there was a stream I saw who would miss City. There was rival fans who did the stream. Funny enough, I'm always invited to that channel, and that time I was never invited to that channel. That particular moment, they're like, who would miss City? And the guys, they were like, not me. I wouldn't miss City. You can tell it's been bitter. I wouldn't miss when Pep God is done using them. That done. I would nobody miss City. Guys, it's not about you missing City. It's not you. It's not me missing Man United or missing Liverpool or Chelsea. These are brand names, and that's the reason why I'm saying I'm very pissed off and embarrassed the fact that Douglas Luiz has gone and he was good for Villa, and Villa have to play Champions League football. It might work with the two players I've given them, but Douglas Luiz was capable, I think, personally, of going to Chelsea, City, or Arsenal and improving that midfield, because Douglas Luiz was going to do good. But apparently, some of these clubs are so scared to go and do a deal like that, even if it's 60 million, there's extra fees. So scared to go and get Michael Olise, who I think he said he wanted to stay in the Prem. But guess what? Bayern have him. And guess what the Prem is? The Prem, no matter as a Prem fan, you keep saying, who cares if Douglas Luiz is gone? It makes Villa weak, but it also makes us as the Prem weak, because we're now going to the Champions League Juventus have Douglas Luiz. Now Villa don't have Douglas Luiz. Who they missed when he's like a Rodri a bit because Sheck, when he was out, few games they struggled. And now look at Olise, who is one of the strong wingers and upcoming wingers. He goes to Bayern, makes Bayern stronger again. While also, not even the guy who's bought Ralph, who's bought Man United, do you know what he said? He's like, we're all sitting here and we don't have stars like Madrid. We could have all had stars like Madrid. Guess what? Again, Madrid just got their 14th, and then now they have Mbappe. They're bringing Hendrick in there. While the top four in the Prem are scared shitless to spend a dime just because they know that I might be the first one got. And by the way, secretly, let's not lie. As bad as everybody was laughing at Man City for going against the Prem, most of these top four teams or the Prem teams are still waiting for that Man City verdict deep down, low-key a bit and saying,
100%.
if this goes through, you know what I mean? If it goes through, they might help us. But let's see this. I right now as we speak, maybe I'm just speaking for the sake of excitement. I am about to see maybe 15 from Madrid, and who's going to be to blame? Premier League, if your teams don't strengthen. You think the words that City are saying and Arsenal saying we might be happy with its current squads is because they're scared. And as I said, as much as people hate this man Pep Guardiola, he brought us standards at the point where it was Premier League teams that were being told that are the strongest, even though we didn't do well in the Champions League. Liverpool won one, City have won one, Chelsea won one. Let's think about it. We still took some away from Madrid. Madrid could have dominated the Champions League. Let's not forget. Without City knocking them out when we won the Champions League, Madrid are winning that Champions League easy again against Inter in the final. So Pep has done things, but also I've seen people because of jealousy of Chelsea, because Chelsea are spending. Why is it your business? You're pointing at Chelsea spending. Why don't you go ask your owners to spend? Why don't you go ask your owner to fix your Old Trafford Stadium that has got rats and piss all over and on national TV?
That's embarrassing.
That was embarrassing. The rain was flooding against the Newcastle game, but yet you focus on Pep Guardiola, Man City, Chelsea. Guys, I'm telling you, sometimes as a football fan, remove your agendas. The agendas are useless. And then Arsenal fans who are our recent haters, including Arsenal, keep snitching on us now. They say, oh, we can't wait until Pep is gone. Arteta's going to dominate. Who told you Arteta might dominate? You might be embarrassed. Enzo might dominate instead of Arteta. So this man, I think people are going to understand his influence on football once he's gone. Did you hear we signed under 18 coach? We might need one because our under 18 was not doing well this season, I think so. Which player has taken your eye in the Euro? Musiala? I think everybody, it's Musiala.
Yeah.
Doku.
Yeah.
The usual suspect.
Yeah, Doku, I'm his number one fan, but some of he's gone back to point two. Yeah, Nico Williams. I know you.
Nico Williams.
Isn't it shocking that Nico Williams is close to 50 million and somebody's gonna have to trigger that? Somebody surely.
Somebody will.
He has like crazy high wages though, right?
Yeah, I heard his demands are high. That's what somebody told me. A guy who does Spanish football. He told me in his group that his wage demands are gonna be high for Nico, and his agent fees are gonna be very high. Yeah, that's why they left him that 50 million. What about yourself, Musa? Who has impressed you in these Euros? Kane?
Me? Impress me? To be honest with you, that might sound crazy, but no one has impressed me as much yet.
It hasn't been the best, though, isn't it? You've seen my tweets. It hasn't been the best Euro.
For my friends, of course, it has not been the greatest, but I have not seen a player like dominate when you say their name, then they go beyond their country. Because right now, every player is like a player that is helping their own country. But I did it to Musiala. We knew he could ball, right? But it's not like he's scoring crazy, right? So he's doing enough to help Germany, which doesn't say much because they're in that team, the one who's standing out is actually Toni Kroos and Gundogan. So I'm just waiting for maybe the group stage will show us a player that will stand out. Because right now we're just talking about the usual suspect.
The one City player that has really popped out for me is Akanji. I think Akanji has been incredible.
Oh yeah, Akanji is underrated. Very underrated.
Really good. And there's the Georgian striker. Mikadze, or I don't even know how
Mm.
you say his name.
Oh, that kid from Turkey who plays for Madrid. The
Guler.
kid from
Oh,
Turkey. I forgot it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Guler's
I
been
think
good
he's
too. But there's a Georgia striker, Georges Mikatadze.
Mm.
He's been really good too. But in general, I feel like, not to get too off topic from Pep, but I feel like the years have been a little underwhelming. Like the best teams haven't really been that good, but maybe that's a good thing, just more parity across the board.
I think they're being more careful.
Yeah,
That's the way I'm seeing. It's like France, England. They're like too careful.
yeah.
Yeah, I took care. And this is what I keep asking Mbappe fans. What has your GOAT Mbappe done ever since the World Cup? Nothing.
Hey,
Nothing.
slow down now. Slow down.
Nothing. I'm
Slow
disappointed in
down.
Mbappe because I want him to ball out. It says, are there any Chelsea players in the Euros? Yeah, Cole Palmer, who's been holding the bench, but he played and he played incredible.
I don't know what your coach is doing, having him on the bench, but
He's a baller. He's a baller. He's a baller. Not my coach. I'm not. I'm in Ireland. I'm in Ireland. Don't throw me. Don't throw me. Don't throw me
You're
in the English.
Switzerland, huh?
Huh? I'm in Ireland. I can't just be pissed. So guys, yeah, that's it anyway. Obviously Pep Guardiola, we'll see how it goes this season, and we'll see if he gets in more players. But I just wanted to talk about him and appreciate this man, Pep Guardiola, who's done so much for Man City. And I'm pretty sure when I say when the Sheikh said if the stadium is going to be the Pep Guardiola stadium, I don't think anyone is going to flinch the eye, or if it's going to be the Pep Guardiola stand, or we see a statue of him in his suit holding a treble, I don't think anybody's going to point out, saying, "Oh, Man City just give away statues." As I said, I tell other fans, I was like, "Well, if we give away statues, what about your club? Why don't you do something about it, man? Because you don't. Why don't you do something about it? Because yeah, like do something about it. Beat us. Get your own treble then." But
He
you
earned the
know,
statue. He
yeah,
earned
he
it.
did. He did. He's done so much, and this man, I hope he extends just to stay there for 10 years. I know he's done 8 years. Maybe he just extends 1 year to just make it 10 years, and then he gets out into the sunset. But I wouldn't blame him if he tells me, if he tells us at the beginning of the season that I'm leaving. I don't think anybody. We might cry, but we're gonna have to appreciate and respect what he's done. And people have to be careful because you don't miss something, as Sheikh said, until it's gone. You find this guy is gone. We might get a good manager, but we might not win as much as we think we'll win. We might not win in a consistent way. M joined us, but it's a bit too late. So we're gonna let you, M. What do you want to say about all this about Pep Guardiola? We're gonna give you a few minutes. Oh, he's gone. Okay,
Hopefully he goes and coach Spain, because I want to see the big countries have like those big coaches.
Somebody say the Spain thing is because of the political thing. Apparently, they won't give it to him because
Yeah,
of
that's not gonna happen.
he stands so strongly with the political, the Catalonia thing and the
Catalonian
Oh.
independence.
yeah. So they want
Wow.
apparently they want. Somebody told me that forget about it. Some Spanish guy said it will not happen. If it happens, maybe they've changed. But it says because of him being such a voice.
Mhm.
Remember when he
Apparently,
wore the little yellow ribbon
Yeah,
for Catalonian
yeah.
independence? It was like a huge controversy, and
Yeah.
it's just terrible.
No politics.
Yeah, so
Yeah, my dream matchup was Zidane coaching France and then Guardiola's coaching Spain. That was my dream. That was my dream. You guys
But
just crushed it.
look at Zidane, man. The guy has been offered so much. I think he doesn't want to coach. Just tell us the truth. You don't want to
He
coach.
doesn't want English. He wants France.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
excited with what he has. So I'll give it to Sheikh. Sheikh, so do you want to shout out? Sheikh, are you still doing your pod? I saw that you do a pod.
I do. I got real busy with work this season, so it took a little bit of a back burner, but I'm gonna restart it next season. The podcast is called Sheikh Speaks. Obviously, would love to have you guys come on once we kind of work on the scheduling, but I'll definitely be in touch.
Big up. You can also find Sheikh on Twitter. He's one of the voices on Twitter who, as I say, says the more sensible stuff. Yes, both me and him, I think we dwell sometimes with excitement, but it is what it is. Everybody gets excited. Musa, you want to shout out your channel, and you also shout out the people can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, pretty much everything on Mo Football TV or yes, Musa Seka 17, mostly YouTube and Twitter, and I guess I will be doing a lot more streaming and bringing podcasts. So Patrick, just look for your in your inbox. So,
I'm always there, and I'm always there for like obviously I've been busy with the chemo treatment, but recently I told people I'm always there. If somebody calls me to the channel, I'll be there. I'm always too early too. Sometimes I go to people's channels, I'm the one who's there 1 hour early. I just found it more respect. I hate it when I hate it to see when somebody has done so much work and then somebody shows up 10 minutes late or at the time. So I'm very used to always being early. But anyway, also go to Pitch Points, guys. I'm also streaming on Pitch Points. That's Carl's channel. If you want to hear about coaching, he's very obsessed with Champions League. He usually goes active during Champions League. But guys, if you want to also subscribe to the channel through CityFan here, you can subscribe. Trying to get to 3K. I have just noticed that everybody I was doing streams with, obviously because I'm very inconsistent. Let me not lie. So it's my own fault. People are on 10K. So I was like, well, give me that 10K too. Give me that 10K. Come on, yeah, I've been stuck on 2K for a while, which is also my fault, as I said, as I am very, very, very inconsistent. Great show, guys. Take care. Or no, big up to you. And I know you're gonna say this again, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna practice this off camera and come back with my revenge. But I appreciate all 444 of you watching from Twitter. As I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, like the vid. If you're on Twitter, just retweet the tweet. I appreciate it. And liking the video is quite simple. All you have to do is do a thumbs up, and it turns black, I think so, gray. I don't remember what it turns because I've always been streaming. But anyway, thank you very much, Check. Thank you very much, Musa. Thank you very much, G-Certified. G-Certified had to leave. Thank you very much, Carl. Enjoy your coaching, Carl. I know you're going to give us a whole speech on the coaching. Please do, because we enjoy those at night. But I appreciate all of you guys. Have a great night. Enjoy your week.